Hello, everyone. Welcome to the LAN Party podcast. Today is Tuesday, February 6th? 5th. Today is the 5th. And I'm sure you can tell that Tyler is not doing the intro. We have no idea where Tyler's at.
He died.
I suspect he's running a little behind.
Because he died.
Or he completely forgot we have a podcast today.
Because he's dead.
Probably not the case. He,
I don't know. Those hills around where he lives are dangerous.
Yeah, you know.
It's a one-lane road.
Well, that's true.
That can barely fit my car.
I thought you were
his house.
talking about like the roads were bad. I'm like, but they're not. So a couple things I want to talk about. First and foremost, I think it's out now. There is a new. Granted, I'm not big on this whole battle royale craze, but it's built in the Titanfall universe, called Apex Predator, free to play. Haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. Because I don't care for battle royale, but I want to talk about that a little bit. And then it seems that whoever is in charge, THQ Nordic, in charge of Metro, is taking a play out of EA's book about threatening their fans and pulling stupid shit like that. And
Yep.
So I want to talk about that and just some up and coming stuff. So yeah, first off, there is now a new Titanfall game. Very loose quotes on that. It is built in the Titanfall universe, but it is all pilots, no Titans.
So, COD Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, but probably better because it's Respawn. It looked pretty solid. Like, again, I haven't played it because I'm not big on the Battle Royale games, but it is free to play, so at least on PC. I don't imagine it's going to be any different on any other console. But yeah, it's free to play. You can download it. It's Battle Royale. It's based in the Titanfall universe, so it plays kind of very much like Titanfall. But the one thing I really thought Titanfall did well was its gunplay and it's like its player combat. Yeah. I thought was extremely well done because it was very innovative. It was this kind of cross between like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, you know, running up walls and doing all these crazy things as a pilot. So if it's anything like that in Battle Royale mode, like that could actually be pretty fun. Because I thought I thoroughly enjoyed Titanfall's multiplayer. Like I very much enjoyed playing Titanfall's multiplayer. And this one's for your play, so hell, I might download it just for shits and giggles to try it out.
Oh, what are we talking about? I forgot we started.
Yeah, Respawn Entertainment just released a new Titanfall-themed game.
Oh, yeah. My friend was talking to me about that at work.
Apex Predator. It's a battle royale, but it's free to play, built in the Titanfall universe. No Titans.
And that's my problem. It's like, if I'm going to play Titanfall, I'm playing for the Titans.
Yeah, but I will say, though, like, Titanfall nailed... You played Titanfall 2 with us, didn't you? Yeah, I think Titanfall nailed the combat. Like, I think combat in Titanfall, even outside of your mechs, was super fun. Like, it was extremely fleshed out and good. The only reason I think that game has so much trouble standing on its own is because of how shitty the business practice was on EA's side of things and stuff like that. Like, it launched originally as an Xbox exclusive, and that hurt it because then PlayStation players and or PC players are like, well, And then
they launched it in between
Call of Duty and Battlefield 1.
Yeah. So
Titanfall 2 that was Titanfall 2. The first Titanfall was launched as an exclusive. The second one was a non-exclusive, but since the first one was an exclusive, most people didn't think to go look for it and buy it. So that already was ready to hurt its sales, and then yeah, they launched it between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Hell, I got it when I was looking for Battlefield 1 and got it as a bundle. Both games like $30.
Yeah. And it's a solid game. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously the Titan gameplay was fucking awesome, but the pilot gameplay where you're just running around outside of a mech was super fun too. Like, I really enjoyed that. And I thought, like, the story mode, I don't know if any of you all finished the story, but the campaign was really good. Like, really fucking solid. I really hope they do a third one. Tyler says he forgot what day it is. Told you. What did I tell you? The very beginning of this podcast, before we even went live, what did I say? He probably forgot what day it was.
Yep.
How do you forget what day it is?
You don't work.
What? You can look at your phone and be like, oh, it's Tuesday. I have somewhere to be. Who's here today? Not you. Everybody else is here, not you.
So is he going to be here or not, or is he going to sit and chat?
I have no idea. But yeah, so I might have to try this Apex Predator game. It looks extremely interesting and very intriguing, to say the least. But I do want to talk about, Nate, you were looking forward to Metro Exodus, weren't you? I know, Nick, you said you were up until the Steam thing.
Yeah, because I have the other two. The other two are really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that Exodus has potential, except now I think it's THQ and like Quicksilver or Deep Silver Games and like Koch Media or something. They've like 120% shot themselves in the foot. So I think we talked about this either last week or the week before, how they removed Exodus from the Steam store and said that it won't be there until, what, 2020?
A year.
A year. So yeah.
Yeah, like 2 weeks before it's launched, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to exclusivity. 2 weeks before it launches.
Yeah. Yeah. So that right there.
I'm surprised Valve isn't trying to sue them for something.
They're not trying to sue them, but they are facing lawsuits for fraud and false advertising and business malpractice or whatever. Because essentially all of the advertising says that it will be available on Steam. Every trailer that you see, every piece of advertisement as far as posters and hard advertisements concerned, it says Steam.
And, people pre-ordered it.
On Steam.
Expecting it to be on Steam. Yeah, I'd be pissed. I'd be saying, like, well, I feel frauded now.
And, like, I know 100% why they did it. Because Steam takes either a 70-20 split or a 70-30 or an 80-20 with Steam. Like,
they take 30%.
Well, it depends. It depends, I found out, on how much revenue the game pulls. So, like, the more money it makes, I think the smaller of a percentage that Steam will take. So, if it makes over a certain echelon of money, Steam will be like, okay, we'll do an 80-20 split. But if it makes below that, they're like, okay, we still need to make this much money off this title, so we're going to do a 70-30. But regardless, Steam takes a lot of money from the developers, and I get that. And I hope, while I completely disagree with this move on Deep Silver's account, I really, really hope that this pushes Steam to maybe reevaluate their, cut as far as profits concerned, because I think this is driving a lot of developers away. This is a very large driving force to a lot of developers leaving Valve and Steam. I guarantee you that is one of the leading reasons that Bethesda started pulling away from Steam. I know that they wanted to do the Bethesda launcher and they had mod compatibility and this and that, but I don't want anybody to sit here and tell me that they couldn't have implemented some sort of Steam Workshop compatibility into Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 and Skyrim Special Edition. Like, everybody knows that's possible. I guarantee you the leading factor that got that ball rolling was the fact that Steam was taking 20 or 30% of their profit, and they're just like, we can make more money and cut back on profit loss if we do our own launcher. And that's the same shit with Exodus. But here's where it gets funny, Nate. You'll think this is grand. Apparently, and I don't know if you've heard this, I just saw this yesterday, one of the developers, obviously in Russian, went and posted on Reddit or a forum post of some nature, and it was loosely translated, and he was essentially ranting about people whining and complaining that it was pulled from Steam and this and that, and then he's like, now they're hate bombing us on Steam, and he's like, now they're boycotting us.
They're review bombing them.
And in the end, he's like, if you all boycott this game, I can assure you it won't ever see a PC again. Like, really?
So everybody's like, oh, so that's how it's going to be.
Right out of EA's book. Like, that is something I would expect EA to say.
Seriously. Is everybody...
What happened to game developers?
Did EA fire all their PR reps and they just get hired by other companies?
Well, this is an actual developer. This was some developer who was pissed and just went on a rant on a forum. And I'm like, dude, that was not good because first off, if anybody finds out that was you, you're out of a job.
Yep.
Second off, now you have like spearheaded this huge negative wave of comments and publicity to your game. Like now people are like, well, the devs are threatening to pull the game from PCs, like we won't see another Metro title on PC and blah 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 blah. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you say something like that?
Yeah. And to go on record, THQ Nordic and Deep Silver have like backed away. It's like, we didn't do this. This is not the view of the company. They're actually kind of like pseudo blaming Cook Media. Cook Media is the one that decided, oh, we're going exclusivity.
Yeah, but the one thing that irritates me is they said that they supported that company and said that the decision they made they feel was probably right. And it's a very slippery slope. Like, I really think that if you were going to pull from Steam and you were going to go to an Epic Games exclusivity, you need to tell people like that you know that wasn't a decision they made overnight. That wasn't a decision where somebody woke up one morning, he's like, we're pulling it off of Steam, we're going to do Epic Games. They had discussed that long ahead of time. And I feel like it's only right, especially to the people that already spent money pre-ordering the game, to announce as soon as you start discussing this, be like, hey, there's talk going around. We just want to let everybody know that there's a chance we'll be moving from Steam to Epic Games. So if you want to, you know, file a support ticket or exchange your pre-order or whatever, this is something we might be doing. But instead, they waited until, 3 weeks before the game launched, and they're like, all right, we're pulling from Steam. We're done. We're going to go do Epic Games. And just out of the blue, no prerequisite at all. And we all know that they did it for money. But the thing is, you have got to inform your community about something like that.
Yeah. And their community response was like, well, you're pulling from Steam. We're pulling our pre-orders.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but I don't think that honoring the Steam pre-orders is enough.
No.
I bought it through, I didn't, but say I did. I bought it through Steam to play it through Steam. Like, that's why I buy games on Steam. It's easy. All my games are in one spot. I don't have to go through 140 launchers. Sure, I use Steam because there's good sales and there's the workshop and this and that. But I genuinely think Steam is good because I've got access to, I would say, 80% of my games library right there.
Yeah.
And it annoys the absolute piss out of me when I launch a Ubisoft game and it opens Uplay. So that already irritates me. And I think one of the other ones was like, one of the other complaints that dev made is like, what's everybody's problem with having another launcher on their computer?
Well, that's just it. Another launcher.
I don't need 12 launchers.
I have 5. I use 1.
Yeah, it's really annoying when you start up your computer and you have a Windows update and graphics card update and stuff like that. And then you got a Steam update, you got some Steam games update, and then you go to play your game and it opens up another launcher and that launcher has updates and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
And then you're like, well, while it updates, I'll just go play Battlefield or something, and you open up Battlefield and Origin's updating and Battlefield has to update. It's so annoying. If everybody would just consolidate, it's the most annoying thing. Like, and it started, I think, truthfully with most likely I would consider the original launcher like branch off probably is Ubisoft with Uplay. EA did it with Origin, but you can still buy some EA games on Steam.
Yeah.
And then Ubisoft did Uplay terribly, and then
It's gotten better.
It's gotten better, but it's still slow. I don't know. I hate learning all these hotkeys for the overlays to bring up the internet web browser and this, because I use the Steam browser all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm in a game, I'll pop open the Steam browser and just be like, oh, okay, so that's what I need to do. And then I
I don't even bother with Uplay because it's something weird. You gotta use
It's like Shift F2 or Alt Shift F2 or something like that. I'm like, what?
And I'm like, by the time I figure this out, I pull out my phone and look it up.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this.
And then the Bethesda launcher. And the other thing, too, is like, you've got to do something with these launchers to make them appeal to the audience in which is using them. I've seen screenshots of the Epic Games launcher. It looks bland.
Well, it has nothing.
Exactly. The Bethesda Net launcher, bland. Give me something good. Steam is full of stuff. It's a store with a ton of games, and I know that part of that is because they've got presence, they've been around for a while, they've got all these partnerships, but still, you make this launcher, and and I know this Epic Games launcher, this one, the looks of it, it looks like it was rushed out the door for this. And I have no doubt in my mind that it was. When they made that decision, they rushed this launcher out the door, and it looks terrible.
Well, all it really has is, like, your library.
Yeah,
That's about
and,
it.
like, it's just, I can't, I don't know, it's super annoying. Because, yeah, like Nate said, you inevitably, you run into the day where you're like, I'm going to go play some games, and then you boot up your computer, and you've got your fucking Windows updates, and then you're like, oh, well, that's fine, and then your games up, or your Windows updates, and then you open up Steam, and it's got an update, and then the game you want to play on Steam has an update, and you're like, well, I'll go play something else, and then you open up, a different game on Steam while the other one updates, and it opens up the Uplay launcher, and the Uplay launcher has to update, and you're like, oh shit, well, I'll just go play something on EA, and then you open up the Origin, and Origin have to update, and then your game has to update, and you're like, well, shit, I'll go play Fallout 76, and then you open up the Bethesda launcher, and it has to update, deletes your whole game, and then you have to download Fallout 76 and then play it. Like, it's just too much.
There's also the fact that Steam usually has the fastest download speeds.
Yes, it does. The rest of them download at a snail's pace.
Especially from the Windows Store.
Yes.
Oh, God. It's so slow.
I feel like the Windows Store, I'm starting to wonder if it's less of a console limit on download speeds and more of a server limit. I wonder if, because you're downloading from the same server on the Windows Store as you are on the Xbox Store.
I guess they can't afford to get a better server.
Yeah, we make trillions of dollars a year. Heaven forbid we increase our download speeds on our servers.
No shit.
And heaven forbid we increase the stability of our services. That's what I tell all those people that ask, like when we run into them on Sea of Thieves or in Forza, and like, oh, what's it like playing on a PC? I'm like, it's actually really good until the Xbox integration fucks up. And then it's awful.
Is Forza crossplay?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, it's been crossplay since it launched on PC. It's Xbox and PC.
Huh.
Matter of fact, I played with a couple people that were on Xbox before.
So I had all those problems on Horizon 3.
Yeah, that's why the Torito problem was such a thing.
Oh yeah.
Because you had your the adapter that would allow you to interact with Xboxes always fucking broke.
Yeah. They really should have an option where if it broke and it didn't fix itself, you could
play in a non-crossplay lobby.
No shit. Opt out.
Oh my god, that brings me to a discussion that I want to have in a minute in regards to Sea of Thieves. What's up, Black Rose? Welcome back. But yeah, like they're always like, "Oh, how's Xbox games on PC?" And I'm like, "Oh, it looks good. They play so smooth. 4K is beautiful." I'm like, "But Xbox services suck."
And I'll be like, "And my ping was going great until you showed up."
That's actually gotten a little better, but the problem is like there have been so many times, like it's almost like 3 times a month you can expect Xbox services to go down for 6 to 8 hours. And I'm like, why? That should not be something that we need to expect. That's not something that we should, like, and I don't agree with people whining and bitching like, well, today's my only day off and I get to play games today and I think everything was down and I couldn't play games. Shut the fuck up. Okay, get the fuck over it. Go do something outside or go do something. Games are not life. But the thing is, it's definitely irritating when it just happens out of the blue and you're in the middle of something. Like, and I sympathize with those people a little more given the fact that this is such a common occurrence than I would if it was, a very rare occurrence. But I'm not shitting you. You could expect like 3 times a month you'll see shit popping up on social media. Xbox services are down indefinitely.
My problem is on games like Forza and Sea Thieves were tied to Xbox updates. When their systems have to update, they kind of take everything down. They're like, screw you.
Yeah, but that's one thing. I can live with that, even though it's annoying. The thing that irritates the piss out of me is when they just up and quit. Like when it won't let me sign into the Xbox app. Or when it won't let me open a game because it can't verify that I own the game. And then I go and look it up and they're like, oh yeah, we're having problems with verifying store purchases. Again? It's like the 7th time in the past 2 months.
I'm like, it's on my computer. And, it's downloaded. Shouldn't there be some kind of like, I don't know. They could take a page out of Steam's playbook and have it verify it right there.
Yeah.
Even it does it offline.
Yeah, just do it like a verification or something and have like a file download that updates. Like, for instance, Game Pass users. Like, technically, even if you still had Sea of Thieves installed, you wouldn't own it. So have a file download that changes, like toggles. Like, it's a true or false fucking INI file. And if you own the game, the INI files change to true. And if it says false, guess what? You can't play it. Something that's, and I'm no programmer, I'm no game designer, I don't know how easy something like that would be to implement, but I can't imagine it's that difficult.
Well, apparently from Steam, pretty freaking easy, because they figured that out years ago.
Yeah. But I did want to talk about, you mentioned crossplay. Nate, I'm curious to hear what you think about this, because this is getting loads of backlash and loads of praise. Like, it is 120% torn down the middle. Sea of Thieves will be getting crossplay toggle ability in an upcoming update.
Okay.
Here is how it will work. And I feel like, because here's the thing, Rare's been really hesitant to change the crossplay settings on this game because a huge part of the game is meeting people and it's the social interaction. They were always worried that if you got rid of some of that, you were going to drastically reduce your chances.
And also Microsoft's like, please don't. We need this to, like,
well, yeah.
Good.
But they're doing it really well. So Xbox is going to be getting PC and mouse, or keyboard and mouse support soon, if not already. So when this update launches, if you are on a controller, you will have a choice to play within a cross-play lobby or a non-cross-play lobby. Any user equipped with a keyboard and mouse will automatically be dropped in a cross-play lobby. So you can't whine and complain about uneven playing field. There will still be some advantages for PC, load times, stuff like that. But that is about it.
So, if I hook up a controller to my PC, I can get the non-crossplay?
That I don't know. They made it sound like PC was going to be strictly in crossplay lobbies only. Like, they made it sound like... But most of the PC players, even PC players that use controllers, are like, fuck it, whatever. But there's a large number of some popular Twitch streamers moving to Sea of Thieves. Like, Sea of Thieves has gotten a really large influx of players lately because some of these streamers have... stepped
people
in.
figured out how to play the game.
Yeah.
Because I just saw a YouTube video before I came over from somebody. He's like, hey, the game's fixed. And he's like, I found out to play the game, you just have to be social and, like, fight people and not do the quests. I'm like, you figured out how to play a pirate game. Oh, my God. Be a pirate.
Dude, when was the last time we did a quest?
blown.
When was the last time we actually did a quest?
Other than Athena mission?
Yeah, and I hate doing those. Every time we play now, we just get in and fuck around. Like, we're just like, oh, let's go do forts. Let's hunt down krakens. Let's go find the fucking non-existent shrouded ghost megalodon. Let's go fight people.
I don't even remember the last time I did an Athena's quest. I know you guys
did one the other night, and it made
have
us
done
all
them
miserable.
more recently than I have.
It made us all miserable. It was not worth it. That's why you
guys did the Golden Voyages, but I haven't even done those.
Yeah, the Gilded Athena was fucking... It was like 45 minutes of work, and it was done. But we have gotten to the point where we use it as a social experience, and we play the game that way, and we chase down ships, and we're like, pull over, all right, stop, drop your anchor, we're going to come over and talk to you a little bit, and we're like, all right, so we're going to give you a couple choices. You can either give us a couple pieces of loot, some supplies, or die. And if they cooperate, we'll take like 1 or 2 pieces of loot and then top off our supplies if they've got enough to handle it. And we'll drop them an Athena voyage, recruit them into the Alliance. I'm like, all right, you keep all the loot you get on your voyage. Just bring us the Athena chest. They're like, okay. And they run off and do the voyage, and then you'll see a little sloop sailing up to us in the distance. They're like, here you go. And they've got like a boat full of treasure, and they just sail off and sell all their shit, and we get our Athena chest. That's how I've been getting Athena rep. I haven't been doing the missions. I hate them.
Yeah.
But
I just realized we handle that like almost exactly like police.
Yeah.
Like a police officer comes up and is like, okay, get out of the car. He's like, okay, what am I getting out of the car for? You're under arrest. It's like...
It's funny.
You don't have an option.
There was
That's how
one
we do
dude.
it.
There was one dude we ran into one day. I think it was me, John, Monkey, and maybe Tyler, or maybe it was Ray. But we sailed up on him, and he was in a sloop, and we were on the galleon. And we're like, "Stop the ship right now. We just want to talk. We won't shoot at you if you just stop the ship." And he pulled his anchor, raised up his sail, and got his anchor back up, and we got on his boat. He's like, look, guys, I don't have a whole lot. This is the most expensive thing I have. And he pointed at 2 cases of silks, and he's like, you can take them if that's what it's going to be. And I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. He actually listened. He told us where the most expensive loot was. He didn't want to die. He was just willing. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Keep your loot. Let's just add you to the Alliance and go do a voyage for us. But... no, the fucking, so, and again, I don't want this to seem like I am bashing any sort of streamer or streamers or playing styles and whatnot. I'm really not. It's just this kind of outcry really annoys me. So I'm sure you've heard at least of Summit 1G.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big name right now streaming Sea of Thieves.
Just recently learned that he even existed.
Yeah. I've known about him, not a big fan. He just kind of has this really trolly attitude.
I've watched him play Warframe a bit because that's his other big game. And
for lack of better words, I think he's a tool.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, I don't like you.
And here is why. There is a difference between being upset about a change to a game and outright toxic and rude. And when they announced that this crossplay thing was coming into the game, he instantly threw up his arms in anger, and he's like, the game's dead, the devs are fucking stupid, they don't know what the hell they're doing, they don't have the right people working behind the desk, who the fuck thought this was a good update? Dude, you're sitting there playing their game.
And also, I'm sitting there thinking, from what you described, it's like, it really doesn't
It's
matter.
not that big of a deal. Because
at worst, you'll lose maybe a third of your population to the different servers. Maybe?
And that's the other thing. Like, he kept saying, he's like, well, you've got like 80% of your players are on console and 20% of your players on PC, and now those 20% are just going to be stuck on servers together. I'm like, it's toggleable. People can choose. And you're also talking about, even though those numbers are far from accurate because we don't know who's playing on what, I want you to tell me, if the opportunity arose for a hardcore Sea of Thieves fan, if you were on Xbox, Nate, and they said, okay, keyboard and mouse support's coming, but so is crossplay compatibility, you going to stay on a controller, or are you going to get a keyboard and mouse? If you're a hardcore Sea of Thieves fan.
Can you just play with other console players?
You can.
Probably just do that.
But what if you have friends on PC?
Then I guess I'm going to have to get a keyboard and mouse.
And I watched a couple videos where people were going around and they were testing out, combat efficiency on PC versus, like, after this whole outcry started, there's videos popping up where people will go around on a server and be like, hey, let's have a fight. First fight, I'll use a console or a controller, and second fight, I'll use my keyboard and mouse. And keyboard and mouse is better, undoubtedly. They got faster reaction times. They can turn around quicker. I get that. But then he went and he'd ask these people, do you think you're going to stay on console, like, exclusive servers, or do you think you'll go to crossplay? And I would say at least half of them are like, yeah, I'll still probably play crossplay. I like meeting all these new people and playing the game and, getting PC friends. It's not like every Xbox player under the sun is going to be like, I'm done. I'm not going to play with PC players anymore. I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is like, I don't want to play with console players because they lag my game the fuck out.
Yeah.
That was really bad in the beginning. It's like 400 ping. Oh, there's a console player nearby.
It's like, It's like this guy, you come up, your ping just like, as they get closer, just starts rising. It's like,
Yeah.
guys, we got Xbox
It's
players.
like, no, it's legit like fighting specters from like a different dimension. Because they get close and they just lag around, they get on your ship and they lag around your ship. And you're just like, what the
And I'm wondering, it's like, okay, it looks as bad to us. It's like, what's it look like to them?
Probably looks normal to them, actually.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, wow, these guys are bad. Why can't they Why can't they hit us? It's because we can't see you.
To catch up on chat real quick, Black Rose says, I looked up the definition of tool in the Urban Dictionary, and one of the examples was Kanye West. Very accurate. Tyler says, looking into getting a keyboard and mouse, do it. It's going to be the closest you ever get to being a PC Master Race member.
I was going to say, I don't have a spare keyboard yet. I have a spare mouse.
Yeah. But no, like, there's so much hate, and then now people are like, oh, they're getting rid of the fun. They're getting rid of their Sea of Thieves is like, oh, we see fun, we're going to get rid of it. This is false advertising because it was crossplay at the beginning. I'm like, shut up. Quit making up excuses. Either whine about it less or just stop talking. I'm tired of hearing people complain. One person made a comment, he's like, yep, now they're going to get rid of cannons and guns and then boats. Like, yes. That's what they're going to do, because the whole premise of this game was crossplay. Like, that's the entire thing the game was built on, not pirate adventures on ships at sea. No, it was a crossplay game. Open world crossplay. That's what it was. And they're not taking it away.
It's still there, but it's like, from the way you described it, it's like, it doesn't
And
really
it's
matter.
intuitive. I feel like they nailed the situation, like, perfectly when it came to crossplay integration. I feel like they got that perfect. They're like, okay, we're still going to do crossplay, but if you're on a keyboard and mouse, you're automatically going to get thrown into a crossplay server. If you're not on a keyboard and mouse and you're using a controller, at least on Xbox, you'll be able to decide if you want to play in crossplay or in Xbox only lobby. Tyler says even with...
The fuck?
That was my cell phone. Tyler says even without a keyboard and mouse, I'd still do the crossplay servers. Well, if you wanted to play with literally everybody that you play with, you would have to. Or just get a, PC, like an intelligent person would.
I have spare parts.
Yeah. But, yeah, so like that is this huge backlash right now in regards to the console, like, crossplay integration. And I'm going to be truthful with you. I think it's a good thing. I think that giving people the option...
I think it's more accurate to say it's an ignorant backlash.
Well, that's true, yes. Like, I can get why some people are a little worried. They're like, well, the servers are going to get quieter. No, they're not. Because you've established a community at this point.
The servers have to have a certain population when they move people around anyway.
Well, Summit's the one person, too, who the other reason he annoys the piss out of me is because he wants to be able to see a list of servers that displays how many crews are on each server so that he knows which server he can go into and pirate people. And he's like, and then when you get into a server, there needs to be a counter up in the corner that tells you how many ships are on the server, so that way if they start leaving, you can quit. I'm like, dude. It defeats the whole aesthetic of the game.
It doesn't matter. Because if a server's full, you're not going to get into it. And if your server empties enough, they're going to just transfer it so you won't notice.
No, and like
now I would like an option mid-game. Say you can't find anybody. You would have the option to hit look for new server, and it would scan, and it would just do the whole phase.
The migrate thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It
wouldn't do it immediately. It would look. And then maybe put you through.
That would be okay, I think.
That's part of the sailing experience.
But that's part of the experience, I think. Like, not knowing what is on the horizon and what awaits you, I think, is a huge part of what makes Sea of Thieves so good. And the people that whine about, well, I don't know how many ships are on the server. Then if you don't like it, move.
Like,
you can hit leave game and then click and join into another server. It's pretty easy.
Yep.
You don't have to sit here and whine about it. Like, what on earth is keeping you from switching servers? You can still switch servers. You can just jump. It's not that frowned upon. If you don't like the server you're on, switch servers. We've done it. It's not difficult. Tyler says, see, I can do a keyboard and mouse for just a tiny bit less than $1,000. You can also do a gaming computer for just a tiny bit less than $1,000. A pretty solid one at that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
My first one was $700. It worked pretty well.
My first one was $700. It didn't work very well.
You melted the GPU.
Well, that was after I upgraded the GPU. But yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Yours was pre-built. Mine wasn't.
Yeah,
Mine was
exactly.
also pre-built when I bought it. Mine was $600 when I bought it.
Yep.
My first one. Then my second one, I built it, and it was $800 to build. But it was better by miles than the last one. And then this one was like $2,200 altogether. But I'm so happy with it. Mainly because, like, a large chunk of that money was that GPU. Like, that was almost half of the computer's value. It was $800, $850 to the door.
Jesus.
To the door. I had to save up for weeks. And I still, even though I saved up a bunch of money for that, when I bought it, my stomach started spinning. I'm like, oh, God. And then I hit purchase, and it's like, thank you for your order. And I'm like, please take it back. Take it back. Same thing I did when, you know, I bought the tag for my car. Like, that's going to be $480. Because that one came right out of my pocket. The car was bought on a loan, so that didn't hurt quite as much.
Yeah, but the tag was like, yeah, that'll be... Shit, how much did mine cost?
Well, it was tax and registration, or tax, and registration. It was $350 in tax on the car.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Well, I paid $5,000 for
Yeah.
it, so.
Mine was $2,800, I think, and the tags were $200 or $300.
Yeah, so I just got that cheap In God We Trust license plate that everybody has. She's like, these are the two cheapest options. I'm like, well, that one has an American flag. Sign me up.
Yeah.
That's exactly what went through my head when I got that, too. Tyler says buy a tiny bit less, I mean potentially under $100. Well, you could just get good and get a job and then build a computer and quit whining about not, having a computer.
He could mostly get a job.
Yeah. Dude, you know what? I love my car to death, but it's actually kind of making me a little angry. Did you see my car when you pulled up? The back of my car is materializing dirt. I washed it 3 days ago.
Get some mud flaps on it.
No, it's coming from the top.
From the top? How do you know?
Yes, because it's streaks coming down.
I
I
guess you
washed
didn't-
it 3 days ago.
Is there something up there that you didn't clean?
My suspicion is, based off the condition of the paint on the lift gate, they didn't wash that car very often when they owned it.
No, I didn't.
So there's a bunch of dirt down there in like the trunk seams and like all those seams where all the panels meet, that when it rains, it runs down the fucking lift gate and it just gets like the rear window must have had like inches of dirt built up underneath, like in between the frame and the body, because it has materialized dirt.
I know. I gotta wash under the spoiler because sometimes dirt gets under there and you can't see it, and it rains and it just runs down the back of my car.
It's just awful. I'm like, I looked at it today because I brought a change of clothes to work because I didn't want to wear work clothes to class or class clothes to work. And when I went out there to get my clothes out of the car, it was daylight enough that I could see it, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, I just washed this. I got to do a lot of work to it, though. The paint on the back is not in good shape. The paint's fine, but like I said, I don't think she washed it when she owned it very often. So, like, there is actually dirt stuck in the finish. Like, it's rough to the touch. My dad said that the only thing he can think of is taking a clay bar to it and just going over the paint, trying to get all those impurities out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some things will eat through the clear coat, especially on 05 Chrysler's.
Well,
Actually, 05 anything.
I think what it boils down to is lack of washing.
Yeah.
You're talking about how you change clothes when you go to the school. I thought it was funny when I was going to those classes for like that half a year or whatever. I noticed all the Ford employees were dressed the worst.
Yeah.
And all the other students were, I'm pretty sure, they're just doing part-time jobs and going to school full-time. So the people with the most money, the Ford employees, looked the worst. and the people with the least money look the best.
Yep.
It's like it was funny because they'd give us like they look at us weird when we walk in because you're coming in straight from work. You got your earbuds in. You got your sweaty clothes on and stuff. So you come in and they're just like, what the fuck? And you leave and you're getting your brand new 2017 Ford F-150.
Yeah.
And they're all dressed up nice, getting into their
Honda Accords and their
$200,000 or 200,000 miles Honda Civic. And they're like, what the fuck?
Tyler says, dude, the roads are salty and briny. No, they're not. That's pretty much cleared now. They've been damp, but I think they're dry now. But they're not salty and briny. Yeah, maybe where you live, dude. But
they probably just drop a whole 12 inches of salt.
Yeah,
down
it
the
just
hill.
runs down the hill.
Dump it all at the top, so when it rains, it makes its way down.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler said that's what I need to do to the Escape. What? Do what to the Escape? I'm confused. Wash it? Yeah, if you haven't washed it, that's terrible, dude. Not washing your car, especially where you live, where it's all salted and the roads get salted and shit. If you ever drive it in that weather and it doesn't get washed...
You said the Escape.
Yeah, but we don't know when the last time it was washed was.
It hasn't moved.
But it may have driven on salt just before it got wrecked. In which case, all that salt is stuck on it.
It was summer when he drove it last, wasn't it? He wrecked it.
Was it summer or was it?
He wrecked it last summer.
It's only been 3 days. Yes, it's only been 3 days, but it also rained a shitload yesterday. You mean to tell me that there's still salt on the road? They didn't even salt for the last bit of weather we had.
No.
It was light.
Actually, I was surprised, like, they got salt on your roads, Tyler? What the hell?
Yeah. The roads aren't salty or briny. Clay bar. He says he needs to clay bar the Escape. But
how about you fix it first?
Yeah, that's probably priority number one.
Might be rusting away.
Yeah, it's
an Escape. Of course it's rusting away. What are you talking about?
But like,
I mean, worse than it already was.
It's turning into a plant.
Yeah, like my car has just materialized dirt. Like, it's annoying. It is super annoying. Like, I spend so much time cleaning it, and it's just like, oh, there's more dirt hidden around here somewhere. We can throw it on the back for you. No, don't do that. Why? Like, it is filthy. It needs. I'm truthfully worried that it actually needs to be like wet sanded and refinished, like, because there's that much abrasion in the back of the car, and I don't know how to get that out.
You need to take it to a body shop and have them look at it.
I don't have that kind of money.
I mean, it won't cost too awfully much just to have them look at it.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know.
It might not
like,
even cost anything to have them look at it.
What would irritate me though is if they're like, yeah, the only way to get that is to get it completely repainted.
Well, at least you'll know.
Yeah, but it's that's so annoying.
I don't know, how much would like a full Mako paint job cost?
A lot.
A new paint job is going to cost quite a lot.
I mean, just to paint my spoiler at a cheap body shop, it was, what did I say? It was like $400 something, $500,
$300 or $400.
And that's not even the whole spoiler. It's just like the
The
bottom of it
sides.
and the sides. So it's not cheap.
No, and they're going to have to remove all those trim pieces and repaint those or get new ones and like I would love to do it in a different color, but like that's going to be even more expensive because the color that I want to do it in is like a licensed Chrysler color.
I thought about doing a wrap on my car, and then I looked up how much it cost, and I was like, no.
Do one yourself.
No, I don't know how.
I mean, what's going to happen if you fuck it up? You just peel it off?
But it'd probably be a waste of money.
You can get this stuff pretty cheap.
Can you?
Yeah, I think this stuff
Why
itself
is
is
it
pretty
so
cheap.
expensive to have
Labor.
it done?
It takes time. Your car has to be like perfectly clean.
Oh.
That's like the van. The AC coil's out in the van. You want to know how much it's going to cost to have it fixed? $680. You want to know how much the part is? $60.
Well, yeah, I mean that makes sense because you gotta take the dashboard out.
Yeah, it's the same thing with a paint shop though, or a body shop. You're paying labor hours to have it painted, and with that, they're probably going to do it the right way and take your lights out. They're probably going to take, tape off your windows and do all that stuff, and they're going to do it right. Not that you wouldn't do it right, but that stuff's going to take time, and that adds on to that labor time, and then they got to prime it, and not prime it, but paint it, and make sure everything's smooth and right, and they have to put it all back together. So it's really not that expensive to do, and I actually have HVLP low-pressure paint guns I got from work for like $6 because they were refurbished. My dad wanted to tinker with painting, so he bought those.
But so you could practice on the body panels for the Challenger.
Yeah, he was actually thinking about just getting like some scrap steel, sanding it down, because he doesn't want to work too much on the Challenger, because you'd have to sand more paint away, and he'd be worried about getting uneven sanding, trying to get rid of that kind of stuff. He wants that thing to be done right.
I want to go to school to learn how to do body work.
Bodywork scares me. I feel like that's one of the things that you don't have to go to school for. If you do your research, it's like in reality it's not hard.
I want to learn how to do it perfectly.
Well, I don't know that anybody can do bodywork perfectly.
I mean,
do it really good.
I mean, cars from the factory aren't perfect. I know that better than a lot of people.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, there was a large controversy going on. One of the shows that I like to watch on TV, Graveyard Cars, it's an auto show about a shop that restores a bunch of old Mopars and stuff, like Chrysler, or I guess Plymouth and Dodge and all this other stuff. And they talk about, like, they do everything perfect. Like, they put the right stamps on all the bell housings to the transmissions. They make sure everything's painted right. They go through all the fucking, codes, and like, okay, well, if it was made in this month on this day, it probably had this badge, and like, they do it all right. But one of the large criticisms that show always gets is that they over restore. Everybody's like, look, you guys take months to restore these cars. Assembly takes you all years, really, and assembly takes you all months. And they're like, these people had hours to have a car built from the front of the line to the back. They're like, these cars were not perfect. They had streaks in the paint. They had runs in the paint. There was orange peel in the paint. You've seen under the hood of my car that giant-ass fucking swipe under the firewall on my Pontiac? That's not supposed to be there. I mean, that's just... Everybody's like, you and like, I love the show to death, and they do such good work on that show, but I gotta say, that criticism is not necessarily incorrect.
Yeah, and my problem with restoring cars is, like, if you're not restoring your car to drive it, you're wasting your time and money.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. The problem is, though, restoring a car is so fucking expensive, depending on how you do it.
Yeah, but like I said, it's like, if you're not gonna drive it,
no,
why bother?
Depending on the car. I will say depending on the car. If you get one of those 1 of 10s...
Yeah, okay, if it's one of those, if it's fucking Copel Camaro...
It's an investment.
Yeah.
Wait, you have a Challenger? Yes, my dad has a 1971 Challenger convertible. 344 speed. One of the last Challenger convertibles ever made.
Wasabi almonds?
Dips, 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 dips. These are the fucking best, dude.
Dad needs to start working on that car.
Well, you want to clean out our garage?
Yeah, it's your guys' garage. Why don't you guys clean it out?
Every time you all try, it ends up 5 times worse.
Tell me about it. I've tried 3 times.
I don't understand it.
I don't either.
It's like, where do y'all get this shit?
I don't know. Seriously, it's not even us. It's my brothers. Ask them.
It's like, where do you all have like a dozen bikes? You all could start a bike shop.
Mm-hmm.
You all need to, like, take the truck, take some of those bikes, and go to Goodwill.
Dude, that's badass. It would be if it was, a functioning car.
And not on rollers.
Yeah. The engine still runs.
When was the last time it started?
No, it still runs.
It did run.
It will.
It did run.
No, you go out there, you throw some gas in the carb, turn it over a couple times, it'll fire right up. The engine's only got like 600 miles on it since it was rebuilt.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it'd run.
We used to start it up all the time.
Well, why don't you go start up now?
Because I can't get to it, Nate.
I don't think it's gonna start right up.
No, it won't start up. You have to pour gas in the car. We probably should change the oil because it's been sitting for God knows how long.
Yeah. It honestly probably shouldn't be sitting with oil in it. I mean, with a full pan,
But
oil after it sits so long is actually corrosive.
he's planning on rebuilding the motor again anyway, so I forgot what I was gonna say though. Now that irritates me.
He's got to get it, moving first.
Oh yeah, and you're talking about him restoring it. The other thing is this: he doesn't have money. No, we have money, but he doesn't have enough. That's an expensive project.
I don't know if your guys' garage is even big enough to restore something like that anyway.
Yeah, it is.
If they cleared out the other side
And just moved the car that was there out when we needed to work on the Challenger, it'd be fine.
Yeah. And got all the shit off of it and out of it.
Because the Challenger's on those rollers, so we can just push it into the middle of the garage and work on it. And then when we were done, we could push it back over to the other
Is he doing
side.
like a frame off restoration, or what's he planning on doing with it?
I don't think you can do a frame off with those.
Well, you know what I mean, like a full.
Like, he wants to do a full restoration. Back to the way it was off the factory. Like, everything down to the color code on the wheels. But, being that it's a convertible tops are super expensive to replace and install. And he's talked to a ton of upholstery shops. And he's like, hey, how much would it cost you to do the roof of my Challenger? And a lot of them are like, I don't really want to mess with it.
Yeah, they're like, it's an old car, it's an old expensive car. I don't want to touch that, pretty much. Is it vinyl or canvas?
I think it's vinyl. I think.
It probably is.
It's expensive. Like,
I really wish I had a cheap car to work on. I'm not gonna lie.
there's a 1966 Pontiac Tempest overhead cam 6 sitting in my driveway.
Mm-hmm. When am I gonna build the engine and put it in?
When I have room in the garage.
Okay, so probably never.
Yeah, it was like, okay, yeah. When it starts warming up, he'll get this burst of energy, start cleaning out the garage again, and he'll get more shit in it.
Now my brothers will come home with another fucking riding lawnmower.
Where do they find this stuff?
I don't know.
Do they just are they secretly the most thrifty people we know? And just go get random crap?
Well, my parents got the riding lawnmower because it was a real good deal. But I honestly think that we need to just put a shed out in the back fucking yard. And put all of our lawn stuff out there so that we actually have room for shit in the garage that we use in the garage.
Yeah.
The other thing is all that, like, furniture came from my great-grandmother's house when she passed away, so we don't really know where to put that yet. Now we have space in the basement, but I don't really want to take that giant-ass record console down to the basement. Because it's heavy. Let me know where dinner is. Red Robin sound good?
Yes. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with my all of my. I have like my mom's car is parked on one side of the garage, and there's just bits and pieces of my car on the other side.
Namely interior.
Yeah.
Namely interior. You saw the old engine to that Honda thing you had?
I have the head to it. I literally threw the block away in the trash. I wrapped up in a garbage bag, picked it up, and threw it in the trash.
God damn it.
Imagine the dude that came over there to grab the can and dump it into the back of the truck.
Like, whoa, this is heavy.
he goes to move, he's like, eh.
What the hell?
Well, see, it wasn't that heavy. It was only like 70 pounds or something. Because it was just the block.
And yeah, it's aluminum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's real small.
Since you bought a
Lightweight.
new car, what are you going to do with your Pontiac? Keep it? Work on it? I need space first, but yeah. That's the plan. I don't want to get rid of it. I've met too many people who've gotten rid of their first car. At car shows, I've talked to people and they'll be like, oh, I used to have this and this and this. And then I sold it and it was the biggest mistake I ever made. I'm like, I ain't going to be that guy.
Well, What pisses,
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of my Focus.
what
I mean,
pisses-
that's technically my first car.
yeah. And one thing that pisses me off is like going over my dad's like all the cars he had and all the cars his dad had, and I'm like, you sold these?
I mean, in their defense, they didn't know they were going to be good cars then.
He gave my aunt a '69 Camaro SS, silver. She sold it.
Nice.
Grandpa had a Bosch 302, '69 Mustang. Sold it. You want to know his reason for selling it? He couldn't keep a set of rear tires on it. I shit you not.
Nice.
My
That
dad
doesn't
had
surprise
a
me,
couple
though.
of cool cars. I know he had an old Ford Escort, and he had something else, some muscle car, but I don't remember what it was. But it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm not. If I fix
My
Pontiac,
grandma had a Gremlin.
ooh. If I fix a Pontiac, am I going to drive it as my main? No. No. Those are cool. I wouldn't drive.
Sold it for the same reason he sold the Mustang.
My grandma also had an old Impala.
Those are nice.
I had a couple of the base model Impalas.
They're big cars though.
Yeah.
Those are big cars.
Well, Grandpa had like 4 kids.
My dad had 270 Challengers and sold both of them. That was a mistake.
Rip.
I wouldn't daily my Pontiac though. I would still drive it, probably pretty frequently, but I wouldn't drive it as my go-to car. It doesn't have heat, or it has heat, but it doesn't. The windows still leak a little bit. No airbags, no seat belts. It's not safe. It is a screaming metal death trap.
Just can't wait until I get my own garage and I can buy an old Mustang to finally start restoring something.
And
Or
then it'll be
I
parked
don't even
next
know
to
if-
that Pontiac
I'm not even
right
sure
there.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if restore is the right word for what I want to do to it, but
I can't restore my car.
I want to get a Mustang, and I want to redo the suspension and all that, and make it more performance-y, more modern, and put Brembo brakes on it, and lower it, put some racing seats in it and stuff.
What you got to do is go with a resto mod where it looks retro on the outside, but underneath it's sitting on a really sporty suspension. It's got a Ford Performance motor, but then you get in and you can't tell that it's not from 1965 because it looks like a 65 Mustang on the outside and the inside. But when you turn the key, it's like a 1965 Mustang just did LSD and steroids and every drug under the sun and is just this big beefy monster. I'm just a sucker for the classic look on cars, though. Wouldn't I get a seatbelt if I got pulled over or wouldn't I get a ticket if I got pulled over for no seatbelts? No. That car is grandfathered into that law. Cars before seatbelts were standard are excluded from the no seatbelt law. Dad had a Firebird Formula when he was fresh out of high school and sold it. Firebird Formulas are nice depending on the year.
So there's also the buying imported cars. If they're over 25 years old, you can legally import them in. They had to be 25 years old. Like the Nissan Skyline.
That one doesn't affect me that much. All the cars I want are made in America.
Speaking of which, I actually messaged somebody about one.
Nate, you're buying a house.
Shut up.
Be like you
He
call up
hasn't
your bank, be
responded
like,
yet.
hey, can I get a $20,000 loan? Didn't you just take $120,000 for a house? Yeah, I'm still working on that, but I found a car that I want. Aren't you gonna pay off your house? Nah, I'll just live in the car if I miss my payments on the house. But we've been live for just under an hour now, and I know by everybody I mean myself and Nate, are pretty hungry, so we're gonna head to Red Robin and get some burgers.
Yeah, go say hi to Robin. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I will probably be live tonight. And I'll probably be live tomorrow night. I won't be on this weekend though, as I will be out of town. So be tuned in around 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern time to see what we're playing. I don't know what we're playing yet. So yep, everybody, thanks for joining us, and we will see you later.